that amount of tragedy and hardship and terror can produce a desire so intense that it nearly pops that balloon. So you have all this pressure in this balloon. And what happens on March 30th when the Americans or the Russians aren't on the horizon to save you? It's right in your face.
The batters wave in winds of...
Let's think of desire as a reciprocal of disappointment and devastation. So whenever you desire something, you manifest the possibility that you'll be disappointed. If I came home and I wanted green tea and there was no pouches for green tea, that desire is unfulfilled, and thus I have the possibility of being disappointed, right? That's kind of how desire works. At least the basis of it is that it's something that you hope for, you desire for a specific object, and if it's fulfilled, you're satisfied. If it's unfulfilled, you're disappointed, not disappointment. Disappointed. And then on top of that, there's different intensities of desire and disappointment. And what's really interesting is they're still reciprocal. So the more I want something and it is not fulfilled, the more disappointed or devastated I get. So let's think of this. I just thought of this metaphor and I think it's brilliant. Let's think of it as pumping up a balloon. We'll call this the desire balloon. So whenever you have a small desire, let's say, take for example the tea, right? I have the desire to want tea. It's not a big desire. If it's unfulfilled, it doesn't really affect my life that much. It doesn't affect my values. Whatever. That desire balloon is just going to have one puff of air. And it's going to be kind of small. Whenever it doesn't get fulfilled, that desire, let's say a needle comes. That's the needle of disappointment. It comes and pops that balloon. But since the desire was quite weak, let's say, and not that important, that balloon is going to have just a very small, and it's not going to have a large impact. But let's say tee it up. You have a desire and want for your child to go to college. And you've had this desire since they first started going into elementary school, all the way to high school. You have this desire. And it's a lot bigger and a lot more intense than my lazy green tea example. So instead of putting one puff into the balloon, it's going to be pretty firm. So you're going to pump, 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 pump. And you're going to get good size right here with a little bit of pressure in there. Now say your child during her senior year says, you know what, I don't want to go to college. I'm gonna be... The first thing that came to mind is a stripper. Now, that's pretty intense. So, you have the balloon of desire, right? That you've bundled up and made more and more intense through time and also through what you value. Your child, right? You value your child. Well, then you've created a desire that extended for a long amount of time. So you have this balloon, and she just tells you she's gonna be a stripper. Here comes the needle. It pops in your face. All this disappointment and people could say devastation that you're feeling. And of course, you can react to that however you'd like or want. the more you desire it, the longer you desire it, the more puffs it gets. Now let's go to the extreme example. An Auschwitz prisoner. Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor E. Frankl talks about how there was one prisoner who thought they were going to be saved on March 30th. And since they're in Auschwitz, one of the most notorious concentration camps for the Jews in Nazi Germany, that desire to escape is quite intense. That amount of tragedy and hardship and terror can produce a desire so intense that it nearly pops that balloon. So you have all this pressure in this balloon. And what happens on March 30th when the Americans or the Russians aren't on the horizon to save you? It's right in your face. Explodes with a huge amount of disappointment and devastation. And in that example, that prisoner actually died on March 31st. They said it was through a disease, but it was because of his overt reliability on desire and hope. And at the end of the day, relying solely on hope and desire will get you that reciprocal backlash of disappointment and devastation.